Join us for the very first IFL Live at London's Indigo at the O2, Sunday, August the 13th, with me, Kugan Cassius, and some very special guests. Eddie Hearn, Darren Barker, Johnny Fisher, and more. Tickets now on sale. So in the words of Eddie Hearn,
you get up, you dress up, and you fucking show up.
Andrew McCart, IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. I'm delighted to be joined by the Cowboy himself, Maxi Hughes. Maxi, we were joking a little bit about the Cowboy hat out in Oklahoma. But listen, you're up against George Kambosos, former sort of like unified world champion at your weight class. I just want to jump straight into the deep end here. You've had 3 days, 2 days now to reflect on it, man. How's your emotions right now?
I'm back at home, and around kids and stuff. My spirits are up, and I think overall my spirits are up. When I do think about it, and I think what could have been, if my hand should have been raised, and if I would have come back with that win, I'd be sat here telling you how much I'm looking forward to my next fight as being the IBF world title. So that bit hurts, knowing that that's been taken away from me. Obviously gutted, but as like we've seen it, it's boxing, so I'm not the kind. I don't want to dwell too much on it. It's like, right, it's happened. Let's see what we can do about it in terms of the appeal, which me and my team are going to appeal it with the IBF and IBO. We'll see what can happen there. We're not holding my breath, but we'll move forward. The positive thing, all the positive messages and the positive feedback we've got, especially from in the US, people who don't know me who are neutrals on that. So much positive from them. The commentators, Tim Bradley, people, who I've got high opinions of and respect them, and so it's that's quite reassuring and positive of all the messages of support, what everybody's saying. So we'll try not to be too sad. The world don't stop, does it? Like today, like my grass hasn't stopped growing. I've still got to go out there and cut it.
Have you got the shot on lawnmower yet? Did anyone get back to you on that?
Nobody's come back to me yet, but I know I'm hoping it's still early in the day. People might be at work and they might not have seen it, but if not, I might have to go out and get myself one.
I'm sure you can get yourself one there, Maxi. But listen, you mentioned Tim Bradley, and like I seen Nick Pete as well from the Fight Disciples, his response to it as well. Obviously Tim Bradley and a lot of the sort of US commentators and fighters, even Shakur Stevenson said to George Kambosos, you lost the fight straight to his face. So does that, I know it's a win, you want to have that win, you want to carry that momentum with your IBO title and get the IBF, but does that give you any solace to the fact that at least big names in the sport, they recognize Maxi Hughes and they recognize that you won that fight?
Yeah, like straight away, as soon as the initial decision were done, I don't know if camera saw it, but I got out of the ring. I thought, I'm out of here. But I turned around, promoter DeBella, he shouted me back in. So I went back in and I did my interview. And before I said a word, once I'd come into camera shot and it was my turn to get on the microphone, I just got a standing ovation and a cheer from a full crowd. And I thought, that speaks volumes, that, I really appreciated that. But yeah, like you say, big name fighters, what they've said, that does definitely help. And, like you say, it gives me solace. And we saw in the hotel after in reception, we saw Bomac, Brian McIntyre, who was there with Keith Sean. And the first thing he said to me, it was quite funny. He just looked at us and went, I heard you all got fucked. So, talking with people like that and everybody else, it helps, like for not seeing anybody who said, you lost that fight, Maxi. So it's definitely softened the blow.
Maxi, what I was impressed about, right, when I watched it was when George was coming in, you sort of took that little half a foot step back and then coming up with the uppercuts. And they landed, I probably lost count how many you landed. Obviously, you and your coach, Sean, they you've obviously worked on that. So was that something that you had done in the training camp to sort of, you know, George comes forward with that 1-2, so that step back uppercut, was that something you drilled in your head going into this fight?
It's something, it's not, I wouldn't say particularly for George. It's just something that I practice anyway, you know, just being in a, you know, being in gym all the time. Like, I'll probably be there this week because my body feels pretty fresh. So I'll get straight back and you know, I think that's the result of being a full-time professional and working on things all year round. You know, you get to become good at these things. So what I said before the fight is, say, like when people said, how will you beat George? I just said I'll find answers. You know, I noticed that that's how he was trying to mount his attacks. So me doing that was just a way that I found easier to nullify his attacks. So yeah, you know, that's how we approached the fight. We worked on loads and different stuff, and you know, some stuff we didn't need to use, some stuff we did, and some stuff I did just because, you know, it felt necessary at that time. You know, them split-second decisions is what's used in boxing, isn't it?
Definitely. When that final bell went, Maxi, I'll probably two parts to this question. I'll get you to answer your initial, when that final bell went, how confident were you that you'd won the fight? And then when you heard the judges' scorecards and it was a majority decision, I mean, what were your emotions at that point as well? So first part, obviously, the 12th bell had gone. How confident were you?
Yeah, I thought I'd won. I got full faith and trust in all my team. The positive feedback between rounds and the advice going out for the last round, I listened, and I just felt, you know, like, it's for a fighter to judge your fight in the ring. It's obviously really tough. Nobody can really do a good job of that, but you get a good feeling from obviously how many punches you're taking and if you've been hurt or not. You know, I didn't get hurt. I felt I made him miss a lot, and I felt I countered him and landed the better eye-catching shot. So I had a real positive feeling straight after the fight, you know, and being confident, thinking I've got this. And then when I got back to my corner after the final bell, I said, what do you think? And they're like, yeah, you've got that. Excuse me.
Jet lag.
Yeah, yeah. I have had, obviously I didn't sleep after the fight Saturday. I had like a couple hours. I had half an hour on flight back. So over the course of the weekend, I've had like 3.5, 4 hours sleep. So I'm trying to catch up now. And then when the decision was being read out, I thought a draw. I thought that sounds a bit, you know, maybe they're trying to give him what they can. And then the two, obviously the 115, 113, I thought, yeah, I can cope with that. I can live with that. And then the 117, 111, I thought, they've given me it by that. They've really liked what I was doing in there. And then for it to go to George, you know, real shock and saddened, disappointed, angry, all the, you know, all the negative emotions straight away. And just like, wow, they've done me. And that's why as soon as that were read, I went and got out of ropes. I was just making my way downstairs, and you know, I came back in to do my interview.
Well, what I've got to ask you, Maxi, obviously, after the Haney-Lomachenko one, everyone was clamoring for Haney to give Lomachenko the deserved rematch because everyone thought Lomachenko would beat Haney. Now, do you think that for George to get this right, to make it clear from the judges, and you gave him the opportunity to fight for your IBO world title, do you think it's only right that maybe George can give you the immediate rematch to maybe put this one to bed for sure?
I'd love that. Yeah, I know it's said in the heat of the moment, like, and I've got no ill feeling, no malice at all towards George. Nothing but respect towards George. You know, it's fighters' code. It's not George who did this. You know, but I shook his hand after. I says, respect to you, George. I says, hopefully you can go on now because it was IBF eliminator. So, you know, he's not going to want a rematch made before. He's going to want to go on and fight the IBF. But I says, listen, you go and get that IBF title, and I'll come to Australia and I'll fight you for that IBF. And you know, it's easy to say, yeah. He says, of course I will. I'll give you that chance. Whether that'll happen or not, I don't know. Hopefully this fight will, and the response to it will niggle away at George enough for him to say, yeah, that's something that he wants to put to bed. So let him hopefully pick up the IBF title, and let's do it then when it's bigger and there's more on the line, and can get paid a few more quid as well.
Exactly that. Listen, you're prize fighters and you deserve it, and you're probably at that stage in your career now, Maxi, where security for you and your young family is most important, maybe a little bit more important than the belts at this stage. But I do want to touch on something here that after sort of like the Sam Bowen, Martin J. Ward, Liam Walsh losses, you could have easily just thought, maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I'm not quite there. Maybe I don't have it. Maybe it was the working and gym and trying to juggle a full-time job in a boxer.
Yeah.
But you could easily have quit, Maxi. And nobody would have blamed you for saying, I'm done. I haven't got for it. But for you to go on and win an IBO world title, go on that amazing run, starting from the John O'Carroll win, and go on that amazing run, and then get your US debut out in Oklahoma, fighting George Kambosos, who's a former unified world champion, who's fought the best. I mean, beat Teofimo Lopez, fought 2 fights with Devin Haney. I mean, headline out in America on ESPN in Oklahoma, Cowboy City. I mean, you're the epitome of don't give up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And, as well, people don't need to get it twisted, like thinking, oh, I'm just anybody who's had a go at it. I've just not quit. No, you have to be good. And, I've shown that I've got the talent, but it's not just talent you need. You need the talent. You need the mindset, the resilience, the willingness, the sacrifice, everything. But, I've showed a true example. If you love what you do and you're good enough and you want it enough, what's to stop you? Because, like you said, after them losses, I convincing myself that I'm not there. I'm going to be the nearly man. I'm nearly good enough. I'm good enough to fight for these belts, but maybe I ain't quite got what it takes to win one. But through persistence and going back to the mirror every time, saying, how much do you want this? Do you want that belt? Do you want to win this, or do you want to achieve that? I kept going, and I've got, I've nearly got what I wanted. Like say, going out to America on Top Rank, massive promotion, ESPN, massive channel, and back home in here, Sky Sports. So I think it went out to 70 odd countries that fight. Australia, all those countries. So I suppose I have not been thinking, this is it, this is the pinnacle, but I have enjoyed the journey, like all the training camp, the couple of weeks before the fight that was in America, making the most of that, enjoying it, fight week, enjoyed it all. And, it's not over. I've still got a massive fire in my belly, which says, that fight has just proved to me and proved to the world, the world saw that I belong at that level. And that's the fights that I'm obviously going to be chasing. I got Lou DiBella promised after this fight. He says, your stock's gone up. All the American fight fans, all the Top Rank staff, they've all loved having you here this week. And, your stock's grown. So you'll be guaranteed a big fight off the back of this. So, hold your head high. So, it looks like the Maxi who's played will be going back out to America, hopefully before the end of the year.
Good, and I think you deserve it, Maxi. I'm not going to sit on the fence on this one. You definitely deserve it as a fighter, as a human being. You're an absolute genuine guy as well, and you totally deserve it. One final one from me then before I go and let you enjoy the rest of your day. Maybe even take a little nap because the jet lag's probably kicking in a little bit. Like you say, Lou DiBella said your stock has risen. I said I was going to say that even though you lost, but your stock has risen now. With Devin Haney likely to move up now, and it's pretty clear his dad said that he's going to move up to 140. He's done. Those belts are going to become fragmented. Now, you to get in a position to fight for one of them vacant belts, I think that you're there. I think if a fighter who isn't in the number one spot and you're ranked, I think, you know what it's like. Boxing is a business. They just need to make a couple of moving pieces. And if they want to bring a fighter, so-called easy touch, that they may think, oh, Maxi Hughes is that guy. Let's bring him over. But you're not an easy touch. So, even though you lost, you fighting for a world title is still there. I mean, you've had
Absolutely,
an IPO about the four main ones. I know the IPO is a world title in its own right, but you want to talk about CIBF, WBO, and WBA. I think that even though you lost, them opportunities are still there, and I think it maybe you talked about the end of the year, beginning of next year. I mean, that dream is still alive.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm not giving up on my dream now. We come so close. We should have been going ahead to fight for IBF, but that is what it is. It's down to my team now. Like Lou DiBella said, he was going to write to all the governing bodies and make sure that my ranking stays where it is and get ranked across all four sanctioning bodies in the top 10. So, like you say, I can get in position to fight for one of these world titles when Haney vacates. Like you say, it's looking quite clear that he's going to move up and mandatories are going to be called, so the belts are going to have to become vacant, and my stock's risen in the US, so I'm no longer unheard of in the US. And as well, you've got the likes of Lomachenko, who's going to be looking for fights. That can be a matchup. I'd even go up to 140 to fight Ryan Garcia again. That was close, obviously, last year. He's going to be looking for a fight. If that fight can be a good money fight, that's something I'd be willing to look at. So it's onto the team now to make sure we can be involved in them big fights.
I love the fact you called that Ryan Garcia there, Maxi. I love it. I love the fact the cowboy hats give you a little bit of attitude, man. I love it. What's it going to be? Is that going to be the new nickname? Is you going to carry that into the ring everywhere you go now? Or is that just a
Cowboy
US thing?
Hughes. I might do, especially if we're over in America. I loved it over there, and I enjoy wearing this. I mean, it were expensive. That's why I'm wearing it all the time. You got to give me a shot. I picked one up and tried one on, and it said $65. So I like, not a bad price, that, yeah. And then I asked the guy in the shop, says, can you get in my size to fit me? So he's going around picking all these sizes up, got my size. I was like, yep, this one fits. Got to till, and he must have picked up a different brand because it was double price. But I bottled it when it came to it, when she went, yeah, that's $100 and so dollars. I was like, in my head, I was like, fucking hell, that's double price. But then I've been too polite. I went, all right, yeah, you go. Yeah, great price, that. Thank you, yeah.
I said, as long as you stay clear of the cowboy boots, spurs, belt buckle, a couple of revolvers on your hip, as long as you stay clear of that, mate, it's all good. But listen, Maxi, like I said to you, I'm gutted about the result for you because I became a good friend of yours, and I was cheering you on. And if it's any consolation, I thought you won the fight. If that doesn't, but listen, like I say, your stock's risen. You've made a name for yourself in the US. You've made a name for yourself in the UK. I think there's nothing but big fights and financial security for you and your family going forward. So, Maxi, enjoy your little bit of time off that you have if you're going to take some time off. And listen, I'll be disappointed if you don't walk into the ring with that cowboy hat in the next fight.
It's coming, mate. I might even buy myself a new one.
Good stuff. I might even wear one just to be on the Maxi train. Maxi, thank you so much, brother. Like I say, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll speak to you soon, mate.
Cheers, Andy. Speak soon, mate.
Thanks, Maxi. Thanks, mate.
Cheers, mate. Bye.
Join us for the very first IFL Live at London's Indigo at the O2, Sunday, August the 13th, with me, Kugan Cassius, and some very special guests, Eddie Hearn, Darren Barker, Johnny Fisher, and more. Tickets now on sale. So in the words of Eddie Hearn,
you get up, you dress up, and you fucking shut up.